Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or indeed, if you are new to the channel, welcome along. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator, for this episode number 20-something of this Extreme Warfare Revenge series, where we are booking Control Your Narrative. Now you can see there, we're currently on the 17th of July 2025. In reality, I am recording this on the 27th of September 2025, so we're well behind real time. And we're not going to catch up, but that is not important. What is important is what's going to be taking place in this video, and it's going to be our big July event, Exordium. So at the end of the last video, we finished the build-up for that event. We did the go-home show. So now we've got the big July event, as I said, and then we're going to be doing the next episode of Disruption, so the fallout from Exordium. Now, if you're the one person that's been following this series, first of all, thank you very much. But second of all, you will know that I didn't upload a video last weekend, and the reason for that was because last Saturday it was, of course, in real time, in the real world, in the real McCoy, whatever you want to call it. It was WrestlePalooza, and it was all in, out, shake it all about, whichever one it was, all out, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, so AEW and World Wrestling Entertainment both had a big event, and I didn't think that, you know, it was a big weekend for both companies. I didn't want to overshadow them by releasing Exordium on that day as well. So I've waited a week or some kind like that. But now it's time to unleash our big July event, the biggest event that we've ever run, actually. Yeah, unleash that upon the world. So let's get on with it. Of course, our events are on Friday because we control our narrative, so we do our big events on Friday. So we'll skip on to Friday, and then before we actually book the event, we'll just have a recap of where we finished the booking at the end of the last video. We'll go through the card that's going to be taking place at Exordium, and then we'll actually book the damn thing. So let's get on with it. Any fresh emails that I need to know about? No, we haven't. Okay, so this was the end of the last video, the last episode of Liberty, the go-home show. So Chase Owens beat Chuck O'Neill, because why not? I think somebody interfered, if I remember correctly. There was a video hyping the return of Zicky Dice. The Hobo they didn't debut. The Hobo and Jervis Cottonbelly reformed Friendship Express. While that was going on in the ring backstage, the Hatchet Boys and Jonah beat up Shark Boy. The Whisper beat Jake Atlas when Jake Atlas refused to wrestle. He just walked out, so the Whisper won by a count out. Mina Shirakawa went all in, if you like, with Chris Dickinson. So she is, well, we don't know where she is, basically. If you follow this, if you are that one person that's been following this series, you'll know that she's been brainwashed by the Blacklist, but she's showing an interest into Chris Dickinson, and Chris Dickinson's not sure if she's doing it because she genuinely likes him or because the Blacklist, Patrick Clarke, are putting her up to it. But in that segment, she basically said, well, you know, I'm going to be managing Chris Dickinson for this match with Patrick Clarke coming up at Exordium. Then there was an interview with Yuki Kami with Yuki, and she basically was asked. She talked about she hopes that the old Mina Shirakawa is coming back now. She's getting away from the Blacklist. Guess we'll find out if that's the case. Sonny Case and Super Atomic Thunder Frog beat Bad Luck Fale and Clark Connors because Getry's hands interfered, I think. They had a hype package for the Maki Ito Kyoko Inoue match. Dave Finlay beat Joe Hendry to get the Bullet Club War Dogs the advantage for the War Games match. And then, via video, Patrick Clarke accepted Chris Dickinson's challenge for a match at Exordium. So that was, I should say, the go-home show. So the card in full for Exordium, we've got the aforementioned War Games match, so it's Bullet Club War Dogs taking on Joe Hendry, Chuck O'Neill and Getry's hands. We've got Patrick Clarke versus Chris Dickinson. We've got Maki Ito versus Kyoko Inoue. The Whisper versus Richard Holiday. And then the six-man tag, Shark Boy teaming with Friendship Express to take on Hatchet Boys and Jonah. And that gets you all bang up to date. So let's get on and book the July event, the biggest event we've ever done, because you can see here I made it a large event. So it's probably going to cost us a bit more money to put on, actually. But hey ho, so be it. I did that because I knew I was going to do the War Games match, so I kind of figured, you know, let's make a big deal out of it. So here we are at Exordium. Let's see, do we get any different? Are these different to the medium event thing? I think they should be. So we can have a well-known band, That's going to cost us $60,000. We can have our event logo on the apron. That's going to cost $30,000. Or we can have pyros for the entrance, and that's $80,000. So it costs more for some fireworks than it does to hire a band. So how not well known are this band that they cost less than fireworks? I really don't know. But anyway, you know what? Screw it. Let's have the logo on the ring apron. We're not going to hire 10-inch nails or whatever to play at the show, and I'm certainly not going to spend $8,000 on some fireworks. But stick a few Catherine wheels around the place. We're not going to do that, but we'll have a fancy ring apron. Why not? Kicking things off with, of course, the sort of pre-show type thing, and we're going to do an ambush attack to hype the main event. So we'll do a 3-on-1. Why not? No doubt Adam Scher will lose over us from this segment, but let's hope not, because he's going to get beaten up, and he's going to get beaten up by Clark Connors, Bad Luck Farley, and Chase Owens, and of course they're going to attack Adam Scher. So what would happen here? I was going to do a 3-on-2, but we'll just stick to the one. So what would happen, like I said, maybe Get Tree's hands would pull up in their pickup truck, Adam Scher and Grizzly Red would get out. Adam says to Grizzly, well, you go inside and, you go inside, take our stuff in the locker room, I'll park the car. Grizzly Red would walks off. As he walks off, these three hyenas jump and attack him. They throw him into the environment, to the side of the car a few times, and I don't know, maybe there was a WCW event where this happened. It looked really good, where somebody had the door, somebody had a car door shut on their arm. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was like the horse. I think it was the Horseman or attacking. So I can't remember. I think it was the Horseman attacking somebody. But anyway, yeah, you get the idea. They just attack him basically, and then Finlay just kind of stands there laughing while those three beat him up. You get the idea. And then the actual show begins, but it doesn't begin in the way that we expect it to begin. So we'll put the booking in place, and then I'll explain what is going on. So we're going to start with a debut, actually. And it's going to be singles debut. A stable member. There we go. I want to try and... There we go. So it's going to be the debut of Sexy Dulce. I don't know how you say it, but if you don't know who that is, it is Sexy. You may know better as Sexy Star. And she is going to join the Blacklist. So I'll explain what's going on. So the fireworks that we've not paid for will go off. The commentators will do their big, welcome to the show. It's going to be great now. We've got all these matches. Can't wait. The action's here. Let's get on with it with our first match. And then they do their little introduction. The fireworks die down. The lights go out. And then you hear the commentator say, well, what the hell's going on? This is not part of it. We didn't have this plan. The lights come back up. And then in the ring, you see Patrick Clarke sat in his ostentatious throne. You see Mandy Rose, not wearing very much, stood there wafting him with the palm leaf. And then the other side of him, you see somebody else not wearing a lot of clothes. Well, Sexy Dulce, obviously, wafting with the palm leaf. And she's got on a mask, but it's the Sexy Star mask. So hopefully some nerds will recognise that, oh, that's Sexy Star. What the hell's she doing here? And Patrick Clarke will get the microphone and he'll just say something like, hey, welcome to the show, everybody. This is what a great night it is. What a great night it is. You've all come here to see me beat Chris Dickinson, and that's great. But you know what? I can't get prepared. I can't get physically and mentally ready, and I can't do my exercise regime if I've only got one beacon of inspiration and by my side. He points to he looks at Mandy when he says that. So while you're off finding yourself, do whatever it is you're doing, you take your time. I know you'll come back home eventually, but while you're gone, I need to, for want of a better word, replace you. I need all the preparation that I can get, so I'm in the best physical and mental condition of my career. And to do that, I need to bring in more inspiration, another woman by my side. I don't know, something like that. You get the idea. And here she is. It's you may remember Sexy Star. Well, Sexy Star is gone. It's Sexy Dulce, and then Dulce in a bit. He introduces her. He hands her the microphone. She puts the palm leaf down, grabs the mic, says, "Yeah, you Yeah, that's right. It's me. It's me, Sexy Star. Now, if you don't know who Sexy Star is, well, let me remind you. I'm real. I do things that I did something that nobody seemed to like for some reason. I showed how tough I am and how showed how legit I am, and you all turned on me. All you nerds, you sit there on your phones or whatever. You want to know about the business. You want people to do shoots. You want people to be real. Then as soon as I do something real, as soon as I show how legitimately tough I am, you all bitch and whine and complain, and you want me blacklisted. You want me blackballed from this business just because things got a little bit too real for you. You want real until you get it, don't you? Well, you know what? Heather just basically goes off on one and says about she's not sorry for what she did to Rosemary and things like that. I mean, if you know the Sexy Star, it's basically there was a match. I think it was at Triple Mania actually, when Triple A was still its own thing, and yeah, there was this, and she had a submission on, and the referee called for the bell, and then she left the submission on but applied it properly and actually genuinely shot on Rosemary, basically. So she basically just apologised for that. And then she takes she's cutting the promo. She takes the Sexy Star mask off, throws it down, and stamps on it. So she's got big stiletto heels on like Mandy Rose normally wears, and she basically just says, yeah, Sexy Star's dead, and I found my way. Under Patrick Clarke's leadership, I'll find my way back, and I've been given a second chance or something or whatever. And then Patrick Clarke will just say, thanks, Sexy, that's great. And, enjoy the show, everybody. And then he snaps his fingers, the lights go out, the lights come back on, and the ring is empty. You get the idea. That's why I have writers, because I can't write promos myself. That's why I employ writers. So that would be the opening segment. And then, just as the dust is settling and the commentators wondering what the hell's going on, we get our opening contest, and it is the 6-man tag. The combination of Shark Boy and the Friendship Express, and they are taking on the team of Jonah, not Joe Hendry, and the Hatchet Boys. So of course the Hatchet Boys and Jonah sort of working for EC3. They're kind of his heavies, as this vendetta against Shark Boy that he's got. If you're the one person that follows this series, you'll know, of course, what's going on. And it is EC3's interference that helps the Hatchet Boys pick up the win. So he's on commentary. He's on commentary with EC3. So put the headset down, and I think Too Tough Tony's the guy who, I think his finisher, he sets his wrist on fire and punches somebody basically, and I don't know. EC3 put the headset down, and Too Tough Tony go to light his arm on fire with the light. The referee disposed of the light. So as the referee's doing that, maybe EC3 pulls out a blowtorch and sets his arm on fire. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, does it? And then as the referee's like, well, you can't use fire. What the hell are you doing? Refusing to pin, and then EC3, well, if you don't count, you're fired. Something like that, and then they count the win. So, let's actually set that up. Thought I'd already done that, yep. So, again, EC3 screws over Shark Boy, and he picks up another defeat. Moving on to match number 2, and it's going to be the feud that's kind of limped along, but we're nearly finished with it now. So it's the Whisper taking on Richard Holiday. So the feud here is basically Richard Holiday accusing the Whisper of lying about who he is. So he said they both grew up together. They both grew up in an affluent upbringing, but Richard Holiday doesn't hide the fact that he's had a privileged upbringing, and the Whisper does. And that's essentially the storyline here. But the Whisper is going to win, just to kind of put a bow on this feud. Yeah, put a good match, why not? Why not? And then we're going to follow up with the third match in a row. So, unusual for me. So we've got Maki Ito. It's the monthly Maki Ito match that we have. So Maki Ito taking on Kyoko Inoue. And of course, Maki doing what she always does. Again, if you're the one person that's followed this series, you will know that she has a concert interrupted. They have a fight, they has fight, and Maki Ito wins by cheating. So she'll just whack her with the the microphone stand or throw into a speaker, whatever it is we do nowadays. Something keeps popping up on my laptop screen. I hope it's not being recorded. I don't think it is. But hopefully it'll stop happening. Anyway, don't worry about that. There's no real purpose to that. It's just a match that happens. Right, then we'll break up the show with an interview, and this time it's going to be Shark Boy. He targets EC3, and he just basically he's had enough, so he'll just say something like, "You know what, EC3, I'm sick of this. This has been going on for months now, and you know, tomorrow, not tomorrow night, whatever the next step, whatever the disruption is, is it Monday? Yeah, Monday, I'm calling you out, and I'm not taking no for an answer. This is going to stop. This vendetta, I've had enough of it. It's ending, and I'm, you know, I'll see you on Monday, something like that." And then obviously they cut back to ringside, and EC3 is just totally no-sells it, basically. I mean, it is the tired old, you know, evil boss and, you know, held-down worker type thing. But it kind of works because, you know, obviously Vince and Austin was the original. But I mean, this is similar to that because you got EC3, who was the son of a wrestling promotion owner. Well, was it the son? No, was it the son? What relation was he to Dixie Carter? I mean, it's not real, obviously. In storyline, he was the nephew of Dixie Carter or something like that. So related to a wrestling promotion owner, and then Shark Boy pretended he was Steve Austin for a bit, didn't he? So there's parallels there. I don't know. Anywho, next up, it's the big match, the in-ring debut of Patrick Clarke. So this Blacklist storyline has been going on quite a while now, but I think it's taking shape actually quite nice. So again, if you're the one person that follows this series, you'll know this already. But if you don't, if you're not that person, so basically the Blacklist is, apart from Mina Shirakawa, is a group of wrestlers that have been blacklisted from the wrestling industry for various reasons, and then they're trying to recruit Chris Dickinson. So they kidnapped Mina Shirakawa, they brainwashed her, and now Chris Dickinson's not sure if Mina Shirakawa genuinely likes him or if she's doing the Blacklist bidding. But basically Patrick Clarke wants Chris Dickinson to join the Blacklist, and Chris Dickinson doesn't want to do it. So they're going to have a fight because of that, because why not? So it's Chris Dickinson taking on Patrick Clarke for his in-ring debut. Now, of course, Patrick Clarke is going to win. However, there's going to be a little twist here. So obviously, at the start of the show, he introduced a new member of the Blacklist in Sexy Dulce or whatever. So hopefully that sows the seed that she's going to get involved somehow and help him win this match. She doesn't get involved, but maybe at ringside, you know, Mina and they get into some kind of schmoz, Mina, Mandy, and Dulce or whatever. And then in the chaos, we get a debut. So there's going to be another new member of the Blacklist, and it's going to be a guy called, who some of you will have heard of, no doubt. Not Darius Carter, Dave Christ. So Dave Christ makes his debut. Now, if you don't know who Dave Christ is, I think he was in Impact, and he was in was it OVE, Ohio versus Everyone? Is it the Sami Callihan group? He was in that, I think. But yeah, if you don't know who Dave Christ is, he was another one that was named, like Patrick Clarke. He was named in the, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but he was named in the Speaking Out movement. So again, slightly bad taste. I know obviously this isn't real, so it doesn't really matter. But if this were real, it would be slightly bad taste. But I do genuinely think you could sort of tell a story, and you could almost get away with it if this were real. Now, I did actually have 3 contenders for this new Blacklist member. So the other two were, it was Jackson Riker. So of course Jackson Riker, he got a lot of heat, if you like, for some tweets about political tweet. I think it was about Trump. I don't know. But anyway, he basically he fused his political views with the Forgotten No More, whatever the Forgotten Sons catchphrase was. I can't remember now. And he got a lot of heat from that. Particularly I remember Kevin Owens in particular. Didn't seem to like it too much, but yeah. So he was the other member that I was thinking of having, and the other person, speaking of members, was, and in a way, from an aesthetic point of view, because he's kind of slimy and and like I said, aesthetically, he would fit in better with Patrick Clarke than Dave Christ, and I kind of wish I'd hired him now, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. The other person I was going to have for this role was actually Joey Ryan. Now, obviously, I don't need to go into too much detail about Joey Ryan, but yeah, he would have fitted better. But I couldn't bring myself to hire, even in this fictional world that doesn't really matter. I just couldn't bring myself to hire Joey Ryan. Plus, if this were real and I did hire Joey Ryan, then that'd give Top 10 Wrestling about 6 months worth of content, because they just make the same video about Joey Ryan and release it every day, and thousands of people would watch it for some reason. But yeah, just if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go to Top 10 Wrestling, search AEW and Pointless, and honestly, you'll have literal years worth of viewing. I mean, it's all the same video, but just re-released, or you know, hey, whatever, you know, it's working for him. I mean, I wish I could make the same video over and over again, and thousands of people will watch it and treat it as a different video. But anyway, yeah, up to him. Anyway, move on. back to this. Yeah, so Dave Crist helps Patrick Clarke win. And then, of course, he continues his assault. I think clean, that's why. Yeah, Dave Crist, try that again. Take 2, we'll edit that out. Dave Crist, there we go, by interference. And then, yeah, Dave Crist continues his assault. And, of course, that's to debut Dave Crist. So that keeps that little feud ticking over. 2 segments to go, 1 match to go. So the segment before, we're going to have an angle. It's going to be a one-on-one angle. And it's going to be, yeah, sit-down protest. Jake Atlas and the returning Zicky Dice. So what would happen here? The Chris Dickinson Patrick Clarke match would end. So after they'd beaten Chris Dickinson down, they'd Clarke would snap it, click his fingers, better than that hopefully. The lights would go out, the lights would come back up again, the blacklist would be gone, but then you just see Chris Dickinson in the ring with Mina Shirakawa sort of bent over him, kind of, you know, helping him up and comfort him in, and then they start walking to the back, and then we get that, you know, do you remember, I think they still do it, but I'm not sure, you know, in WWE when there used to be a cage match, the cages start lowering, and then the lights would flash and they'd play that music when they go in do 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 do. Does anyone remember that? Or is it just me? I thought that was really cool. But anyway, shows how easily the police down. But yeah, so the War Games cage would start lowering. As it's lowering, obviously the music's playing, the lights are flashing, we're kind of getting the build up. Jake Atlas just storms out. His music doesn't hit. He storms out. And he says, you know, stop this. This is rubbish. I ain't putting up with this no more. Get that cage back up there. You know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of being overlooked. This is this company's biggest ever show, and I'm not booked on it. Oh, and I wonder why that is. I know. Let's not give any respect. Let's not give any TV time, pay-per-view time to the gay guy. So he's basically playing the homophobia card. Somebody just came to my door, man. Probably heard me talking about homophobia. But anyway, yeah. So he plays the homophobia card. He complains, and then Zicky Dice's music hits. He runs out with a chair or whatever and starts to get in. Goes to get in Jake Atlas. It's put me off now, actually. Goes to get in Jake Atlas's face. Jake Atlas backs down. He's sort of backing up the ramp. Zicky Dice grabs the microphone. And, you know, he sees him like, I haven't got time for this. You know what? I've been through hell these last few months. You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. Everyone knows why I've been off, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've got a drug problem. I'll say it. Or at least I did have a drug problem, but, you know, I've been through rehab, and rehab absolutely sucks. But you know what? I've lived to tell the tale. I've come out the other side, and if I can go through rehab, there's no way I'm going to sit back there and watch you whine and bitch and complain about how held back you are. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you, or worse than that. You get the idea. You're your own worst enemy, basically. That's what I meant by that. Well, you get the idea. This is why I have a writer. But you know what? I'm not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Yeah, I used to have a drug problem, but it's gone now. The only high I need is climbing into this ring, and the only trip I need is traveling throughout these arenas, traveling to these arenas and performing in front of these fans. I mean, that kind of sucks, but you get the idea. And then he'd sign off with his new catchphrase, I'm back, I'm cleaner, and I'm meaner. And I think that kind of works. If not, it can be the tag team for if Kenny Omega and Mina Shirakawa ever team up, that can be their tag team name. But as I said earlier, that's why I hire writers. But yeah, so he cut kind of a fiery babyface promo about overcoming his addiction basically, and that would signify his return. And then finally, we're here at the main event. I feel like I've embellished this a bit too much, but I put a lot of thought into this show, so I'm kind of making the most of it. Finally, main event time. The War Games match. So it's Bullet Club War Dogs, which is, of course, Clark Connors. It is Chase Owens. It is Bad Luck Fale. And it is David Finlay. And they're taking on the team of Joe Hendry, Chuck O'Neill, and then Get Tree's Hand. So, as I said earlier, we had you can't book that on here, but we had the advantage match, and of course the heels won, so it would be probably Chase Owens and Joe Hendry would start, then Clark Connors would come in, then Chuck O'Neill would come in, then David Finlay would come in, then Grizzly Redwood would come in, then Bad Luck Fale, and then finally Adam Scherr comes in last, and then the match beyond begins. And in the end, despite getting beaten up earlier in the show, Adam Scherr gets the win. He can pin Chase Owens. He's been in the longest. Finisher KO. Okay. Yeah, we'll go weapon KO. Why not? It can be some kind of big Tower of Doom through a barbed wire table on fire spot or something. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway. That's Exordium. Hopefully it's going to be a good show. Let's see. Hopefully I don't think this... I think I've said this before, but I don't think this stuff up here makes any difference. So I don't think it actually affects the overall quality, but we'll go with it. Well, that was good. Well, Adam Scherr didn't lose any over this, so that's encouraging. That's a good start. Oh, that was a good segment. Oh yeah. I forgot Mina Shirakawa is still listed as part of the blacklist, so that's why she's gained that. But I suppose she's in a way, but then we've obviously got this grey area of, well, yeah, is she or isn't she on Chris Dickinson's side? I don't know. Cool, that was a good match. We'll take that. That was okay, decent for six-man tags. Six-man tags don't normally get very good ratings on here, so we'll take that. That's pretty good. Yep, that's fine. Decent, good stuff. Yep, that's okay. We'll take that. Wow. Now you see, that's why we gave it the big bill. That's why we waited 6-7 months whatever it is for that in-ring debut. 94% match quality. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be that good, I have to say, but yeah, we'll take that. 4 stars. Thank you for that. Well, okay. I wasn't expecting that to be anywhere near as good as it was, but yeah, we'll take that. Excellent stuff. Good. I was hoping for a bit more, but it doesn't matter. That was kind of his babyface turn, essentially, because he's not actually a babyface, but yeah, well, that was never going to be good, but we'll take it. To be fair, 71% when he's been sluggish. We'll take that, actually. That wasn't bad at all. Cool. That was a really good event, if I do say so myself. 67. I mean, it took long enough. We've nearly been going half an hour, so it took long enough to get there. But yeah, that was a pretty good show. We'll definitely take that. Right. 1,207 people turned up. 1,207 people have turned up for that, so that is good stuff. Cool. Right. Okay. You probably should be, Clark. To be fair, as should you, especially for that 94% match. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Right. Okay. So now we've just got the next episode of Disruption to do. It is Disruption, isn't it? Yep. And then we will end the video because we've already it's already gone way longer than I intended it to. But I was blabbing on about promos that weren't very good, if I'm being really honest. Ooh, actually, hang on. Ooh, I need to. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I need to. Yeah, good job I looked at that. Actually, I needed to. Yeah. Because if I'd not done that, we'd have lost that. We'd have been down to 1 show a week, which would have been a disaster. I totally forgot about that, actually. That was a bit lucky that I clicked on that. Right, let's skip on to Monday, and then I just hope it hasn't cost us too much money, but we'll find out at the end of the month. Right, let's get to Monday. We've got 8 segments to book. I know what they're going to be, and we can just get it done. Okay, so it looks like CMLL have got bigger, so that means they've probably signed somebody, but let's see. They've certainly signed some staff. Jimmy Garvin, I think is he a trainer on here? Or road agent, one or the other. There's a Michael Pavoni, I don't know who that is. I don't know who Thomas Sisk is. I don't know who Golden Boy is. It's not Oscar De La Hoya, is it? Eddie Arango is a referee. I know who that is. Ian Riccaboni, I know who that is. They've signed Matt Raywald to a written contract. Obviously, nothing screams lucha libre like Matt Raywald. Obviously, so his work as Omos's manager, and thought, you know what, we'll have him. I'd love it if they've also signed Omos. They were quite a good little tandem, I thought, actually. Matt Raywald replacing Austin Aries. Of course, if you're the one person that's followed the series, you'll know that already. Nothing screams lucha libre like Ken Anderson. And they've risen to national level. Okay. Cool. So we've now lost Matt Raywald. We can't get him back again. Oh well. We'll live. Right. Here we go. Disruption. Let's crack on. And we're going to kick things off with Shark Boy following up on his threat. So it's going to be. I mean, I haven't actually got the next big event in the calendar, but we'll book it anyway. So it's going to be challenge for the next big event. It's going to be Shark Boy challenging EC3. So what would happen is the show would start. EC3 would obviously do the introduction. Shark Boy would come out, no music again to make it try and make it look real. He storms up to the announce desk. Goes radio rental on him. Just says something like, you know what? I'm sick of. Like I said, I warned you on Sunday. You know, I'm sick of this. This has got to come to an end now. I want to fight you. Not, you know what? Not even tonight. I'll give you over a month to prepare. I want to fight you at. I don't know what the next event's going to be called, but insert event name here. You know, and I'm not taking no for an answer. This show's not starting until you accept my challenge. And then he just stands there, and EC3 just stays silent. He doesn't say anything, and then eventually he stands up and he sort of beckons. He beckons the security staff over. Basically the goons just kind of drag Shark Boy away, and Shark Boy's like screaming into the microphone as he's getting dragged away. You know, this isn't over. You know, I'm going to get you in this ring if it's the last thing I do, and something like that. And then we start with a match, and it's a return of I think I said that rhymes with Mac real quickly, but I can't think of anything. I would say return of the Smack Addict, but he's clean now. So it's Zicky Dice. Obviously in this world, I mean in real life, don't know. Don't really know who he is, to be honest, but anyway, move on. Right, so Zicky Dice taking on Darius Carter. So again, trying to cement the fact that he's now a babyface. I need to turn him officially babyface, but we'll worry about that another time. So Zicky Dice, of course, wins. He wins cleanly, but then after the match, Mr. Atlas doesn't like it, and he beats him up, and then of course builds up to a future match. So we all know. I was gonna wait and have Zicky Dice's in ring return be against Jake Atlas, but I think we can just do it there. It doesn't matter. Next up, an interview with a tag team. And it's going to be the Friendship Express. So they basically just say something like they're still annoyed at the Hatchet Boys. So they'll just say, you know, it was great to be. They'll just like, you know, it was great to be back together at the weekend. Obviously, on Sunday. It's a shame we came up short, but you know what, Friendship Express, Hatchet Boys, we're not. You know, you don't get rid of us that easy. You know, you can punch me with a flaming fist, but you don't get rid of us that easy. And we're going to be the ones to put you out, or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, they basically say, it's basically this feud's carrying on, sort of thing. Next up, a random match for no reason, but we'll go with it anyway. It's the 94% man. It's Chris Dickinson, and he is taking on Ryan Gale won, or Gallioni, or Gallioni, I don't know. And he just basically just Goldbergs him, so he absolutely just rips through him. It's a really, really quick match, and then he grabs the microphone after the match. Where is it? Call out and answer. There we go. So he rips through him. So yeah, rips through Ryan Gallioni, grabs the microphone, cuts a promo on. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing the promo, but he cuts a promo on Patrick Clarke. Threatens, says it's not over. I'm not. I'm going to get my hands on you again. And if I've got to go through your goons first, that's fine. Starting with you, Dave Christ. Get your backside out here, and obviously Dave Christ doesn't answer. So then he storms off backstage to go and try and find him. Following on from that, we get... Why have I booked this? I'm not quite sure, but we'll go with it anyway. It's live, pal, so we'll keep going. It's another interview with Yuki. And she is going to be critical of... we'll stick that one in. Sexy Dulce. So the interviewer, Lexi now, I think we've hired, would say... what do you think of Sexy Dulce? Do you think now Mina's now free of the blacklist, or have you spoken to Mina after what happened at the weekend? And Yuki says no, and just says she doesn't know who to trust, or but she alludes to the fact that the Triple Mania incident with Sexy Dulce, Sexy Star, and says she still should be welcome in this locker room, basically. And yeah, so obviously that's planted a seed there. Next up, we've got an other angle. Worker thanks another for help. And it's Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill. So this kind of ends this little sort of partnership. So Joe Hendry, would say, wasn't Sunday amazing? To be in a War Games match and to win, it was a dream. And this rivalry I've had with David Finlay, as Bullet Club War Dogs started to grow and start to be, you've been with me through thick and thin, and I can't thank you enough. Thanks for everything you've done, but I think it's time we went our separate ways, and you pursue your career, I'll pursue mine, and maybe one day, we'll get in the ring and see who the better man is. And they just makes them a nice sort of two likeable baby faces, sort of getting along and agreeing to go their separate ways. That kind of signifies that's the end of this little alliance, if you like. But I think it's been quite a nice little team, actually. Been a good little team, Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill. And then finally, the main event, Get Tree's Hands in a tag team match. So it's going to be Adam Scher and Grizzly Redwood, and they are taking on two members of the War Dogs. So it's Clark Connors and Chase Owens, the rough... Was it the Rough Rednecks or something? I gave them a name before. One guy who's followed the series. What did I call these two? Remind me. Now I want the Rednecks to win, but I've got a feeling Adam Scher is going to complain. But let's see. Yeah, I thought they would. Yeah, okay, we'll give them the win then. So Adam can pin Chase. Why not? We'll say botched interference, actually. So we've got obviously Farley and Finlay can both run in. We'll say two of them. Yeah, Connors. Yeah, get revenge. Why not? So basically, I want it to end with Connors and Owens standing tall, basically. And so that's just kind of. We're kind of slotting them into the feud now, rather than... So Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill probably take a bit of a step back, and then... I'm not quite sure where we're going with it yet, but we'll figure something out. But I think the Hendry-Finlay feud needs to end now. I think we've been going that one long enough. Right, so that's the Fallout episode of Disruption. Let's go. Hopefully we can get that magic 60% that we like to get. That's a good start. That's a good follow-up. That was a good segment. Excellent stuff. Yep, that's fine. Chris Dickinson is great, as we know. Oh, well done. We'll take that. Cool, yeah, she's getting over, that's great. Yeah, could have been better, doesn't matter. Yeah, that was a good match. It's okay, yeah, perfect. 62%, excellent stuff. Still haven't recovered from the guy coming to the window to deliver something to the letterbox, no idea what it is. 212 people came to watch that, which is excellent. Excellent stuff, not quite the 1,200, whatever it was, that came to Exordium. We know about CMLL's expansion, and that is now the end of the video. So between now and the next video, whenever that may be, I need to try and I need to get the August event booked in. I need to decide when it's going to be, what it's going to be called, and what the card is going to be. But that is all for the future. For now, that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on this video should you choose to do that. While you're here on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentator, you will find the rest of the videos in this playlist. If you want to be like, if you're not the one person that's followed this series, but you want to be like him, then please go and check that out, and you can relive everything that we've done so far and work out how the hell we've got here. Also, if you like wrestling and you go to the channel, you will find some wrestling related content. I've played through this game before on an older database where I booked PWG. I've also done a playthrough of WWE Crush Hour, so go and watch that. If you don't like wrestling, then how you've survived this video for 41 minutes, I'm not quite sure, but if that is the case, there is lots of non-wrestling related content for you to enjoy also on the channel, including many Pokemon videos, including Lego Island, including a train racing game called Extreme Express, including Star Fox, and everything else in between. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on and getting towards the end of July and starting the build to our August event, whatever that may be called and whenever that is going to be. But until we get to that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.